So this question here is actually really good. Sort of a mind bender. Says, is a doubly augmented seventh a compound interval? Which is actually something I had never really thought of. It's actually a really good sort of philosophical music theory type question. And the person asks, or they say that Wikipedia lists the diminished seventh, or sorry, the diminished ninth as the smallest compound interval. And so it says, so I'm guessing that the distinction between simple and compound intervals is based on staff positions instead of semitones. Intervals encompassing 8 or less staff positions are simple. Those with more are compound. Yes, you're right. Your wording is a little bit different than the way I would word it, saying staff positions. But let's talk this through for a second here. So in music theory, we use numbers and letters in our intervals. If we're talking about tonal language here, like a G major scale or something like that, then let me adjust this here. So the distance between two pitches is going to have a quality such as major, minor, augmented, diminished, doubly augmented, and it's going to have a number: second, third, fourth, fifth, ninth. So let's take the note G, for example. If I'm going from G to A, if I called that an A, it would be a major second. So a second, because from G to A, one, G is unison, A, G, A, second. Now we get into the interesting sort of philosophical trickery of syntax. That what if we were to rename that A? An A could also be, in some contexts, maybe we come across a G double sharp. Well, G double sharp actually sounds a whole lot like A because mathematically speaking, it's the same vibrations. It's, ringing at the same hertz as an A because to our ear is an A. So that's a G double sharp now. So if I'm going from G to G double sharp, we're no longer talking about a major second because we're not going up a second to A. We're remaining at unison. So now it would be a doubly augmented unison. So we'd have a perfect unison, an augmented unison, and then a doubly augmented unison. So what if we were to now call that A B double flat? Sounds exactly the same. We're just calling it something different. Now that it's a B, so G, A, B, it's some sort of third. It's going to be actually a diminished third. So if we had a major third, so that's a major third, minor third, keep getting smaller, it's a diminished third. So as it gets smaller, it gets diminished. As it gets bigger, it's augmented. So the question remains, a doubly augmented seventh, which, as the person writing the question is correct in assuming, or is correct that a doubly augmented seventh, it actually sounds the same to our ear as a minor ninth, which would be, let's see, a minor ninth, which is an octave plus a semitone. So I want to answer the question by saying yes and no, because it's going to sound like that compound interval, but no, because it is actually spelled as smaller than an octave. So technically, it does not fit the term of, it does not fit the proper definition of a compound interval. We're not going bigger than an octave. We are, mathematically speaking, and sound-wise, sure, it sounds bigger than an octave, but whatever musical context situation we got ourselves into, or somehow we have a doubly augmented seventh, we are technically not using a compound interval. We are using a very large, not compound interval. We're using a doubly augmented seventh that just so happens to sound like a minor ninth, but it's not a minor ninth. It's a doubly augmented seventh. So yes, you are correct. It is not a compound interval.